you all for being here for the first University of Tennessee Advisory Board meeting. Would you please call the roll?
Todd Lyman.
Here.
Chris Caldwell.
Here.
Bernice Hagler. Here. Art Sparks.
Here.
Louis Wells.
Here.
Hugh.
Just a few opening remarks, and then certainly want to get to the gentleman right here on the left. This is a historic day. This is the first time we've ever had a local board working with us in advisory capacity. So we're making history. I want to point out something to you. Each of you, and Julia, you'll be receiving receiving this. This is a handrail from the communications building. Many of you know the communications building was built in 1936. We are about to lose that small building because of the new engineering. The new STEM building of the Latimer family is coming in. But as we were looking at that building was here when we were established in 1927 as the UT Martin Junior College. Then in 1951, we became University of Tennessee Martin Branch. And then in 1967, we received full university status. And so we thought, in moving forward, we would give you all just a memento to the desk to show where we've been and also to signify progress. So really, thank you. Really look forward to working with all of you. But with that, I want to turn it over to Governor Haslam. And Governor, we're thrilled to have you on campus.
Well, thanks for inviting me. Let me start by thanking those of you on this board for serving. I really appreciate it. And I thought it might be helpful, since this was the first ever, to talk a little bit about how we got here and why we're here. As you know, when we passed the UT Focus Act back last legislative session, one of the key pieces of that was to shrink the board for the system from 26 members down to 11. And I did that for a simple reason. My experience has been the larger the board, the less effective a board is, because everybody feels like somebody else is owning it. Everybody feels like, well, okay, that's a problem, but somebody else will address that. That's not my role. So we made the decision to shrink the board, and obviously I'm biased, but I personally think it'll be a really good system long term. But in that, I didn't want to lose the fact that we are a system, and that system has very different pieces and parts to it, all of which play their own important role in making the system whole. And I wanted to make certain that each campus has the sort of attention that I feel like it deserves. A little bit our model, this isn't the exact same because governance changed drastically, but we'll get the Tennessee Board of Regents and the CPA office, the 6 four-year schools, the 13 community colleges, and 27 technical schools all under one board. It felt like there was just too much there. But what we did notice is that when the schools got their boards, they gained a lot of specific insight into that institution. This is not a model that we're not breaking up the University of Tennessee system. I'll be really, really clear about that. We're not breaking up the system. But I do think that we can, this institution can benefit from a little bit more hands-on attention and insight that can come from this group. And each of you are asked to play this role for specific reasons, for some insight that you would bring to the board. And what I'm really asking you is to do that. You have a great chancellor here. That's my personal opinion. But one of the things I like about him is that he welcomes this board. He could say, I'm kind of here by myself. Now the board, the UT system board has shrunk. Sounds like my life just got simpler. Maybe there won't be as many people looking over my shoulder. But Keith is not that way. Keith actually said, hey, I would love some folks that could provide added insight for this school. Here's the reality. You understand this at Martin as well as anywhere. Each of our institutions has their own specific mission. And that school's function and purpose is different. I mean, the purpose of Martin is very different from the purpose at Knox or Chattanooga or Memphis. And I need this group to own that and have Martin be the school that we need it to be for the entire state. And so that's the last thing I would ask you to do. I know there's certain of you, whether it be Chris or Devin, like I'm here to represent the students, or I'm here to represent the faculty. But I hope all of you see your role as I'm here to represent the entire state. At the end of the day, this is the state's institution. And it's important that you bring all of that perspective. So, Chris, I certainly want you to be loud and vocal about faculty, the role of faculty, and Devin, the same thing for students. And then each of our other board members to bring the perspective you have. At the end of the day, I hope you say, I'm wearing the hat of the state of Tennessee, this public institution that's a great institution. And let me maybe just end with that. As you know, I'm getting ready to lose my job here in about 10 days. So you tend to take on a little different perspective. And everybody's asking, what have you learned? What do you do? Well, here's what I knew before I got here, but I know beyond a shadow of doubt. Tennessee's future lies in public education. I'm not throwing shade at private schools at all. I went to one myself. But the vast majority of our students are going to go to public K-12 institutions. The vast majority of our higher education experience is going to be in public higher education institutions. And it's critical. The pace of change in higher education is mind-boggling. And I personally think what we've seen over the last 10 years, we haven't seen anything yet. It's going to change more dramatically. And I really hope you can be those folks that understand this part of the state. You understand the economic needs. You understand the mission of this school. And you bring all that into bearing to say, how can we make certain Martin a great institution, preparing people to serve in the state in a variety of roles for a long time to come. The particulars, and you all have all seen the bylaws, the particular responsibilities are around, things like approving the budget that the chancellor will recommend to the system board, approving tuition and fees, and approving the overall campus master plan. But in the best of scenarios, that's the legal fiduciary responsibility. In the best of sense, it's really about more than that. It's about how do we all together own UT Martin and make certain that we're doing everything we can to prepare students for a great future. At the end of the day, it's about folks like Devin and others, and how do we help them prepare for everything that's in front of them. So I'm deeply grateful you do this. I know there's a little bit of a sense of being a guinea pig about being on the first board of anything. I personally am not worried about it here because I have great confidence in your chancellor and his ability to be very practical about coming up with good solutions. So thank you. I appreciate all of you saying that. I will be. I'm moving from the sidelines to the stadium seats, but I can assure you, I will be cheering just as hard for what happens here in the role that this board can play. Hey, anybody any questions for me before we go on why we did this or what the role should look like, or comments?
How does what we do feed into the?
That's great. So, so technically, it'll be about approving the recommendations that the chancellor makes to the system board about critical things like budget, tuition, and fees. But I think beyond that, just the same thing, the discussions you have, I think that all those information, minutes, et cetera, will go to the system board. And I think what you're going to also do is help Keith as he says, hey, here's where we are at Martin, here are the challenges that we're facing, and that board can understand better. I realize there's certain limitations to an 11-member board that a 26-member board didn't have. So in some ways, I'm hoping you're a little bit more the eyes and ears for Martin, and that's communicated to the big board in a way that they go, well, that's the chancellor's opinion what's happening here. You all literally represent alumni and community folks and students and faculty, and if this advisory board is telling a larger board, this is a real need in Martin, I think it can add to the impact that it makes. Other questions or comments for me? Okay, we will move on. I am, let's see, Jason, do you have anything else to put in?
No. Right into the agenda.
Okay. I'll do the first two tabs until we elect a chair, and then I'm going to swap seats with that new chair. So the first item is to adopt the bylaws. They're in tab 1. I think you should have all received them prior to this meeting. Are there questions or comments about those bylaws? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the bylaws as presented?
Julia Wells, I approve.
Okay, I'll take the motion to be from Julia and the second to be from Art, if that's okay. Any other comments or questions? Ready to vote then? All those in favor of, do you need this
I
by
do need
voice?
this by
Okay, why don't you do it? Thank you, sorry.
Item, Hal Bynum,
Yes.
Chris Caldwell,
Yes.
Louise Hagler,
Yes.
Art Sparks,
Yes.
Julia Wells.
Yes, and I'm here alone.
Thank you. That was required, you know. That makes the motion pass.
Thank you. And just in case anybody's wondering why Kevin is not voting, he asked us to be appointed later in the agenda. So, okay, the bylaws as presented are approved. The next item is to elect a chair of the board. Are there any nominations or any discussion around that?
Everyone at once.
Yeah.
I nominate Art Sparks.
There's a nomination for Mr. Art Sparks by Moniece Hagler. Is there a second to that nomination?
Second.
Is there any further discussion around that? Mr. Sparks, I should ask, are you willing to serve if elected?
I am.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay, we will vote. You need a roll call on this as well.
Hal Bynum,
Yes.
Chris Caldwell,
Yes.
Louise Hagler,
Yes.
Art Sparks,
I think I'll pass.
Julia Wells. Julia Wells.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think it's passes unanimously except for Mr. Sparks, who refrained from voting. So with that, Art, I'm going to ask you to come swap places with me, and I'm going to slide over here. But congratulations.
I think I got it just because of my haircut, right?
It looks great. It looks great.
I'm very humble and very appreciative. If I'm lying, I've been associated with this university since 1957. I was extremely young at that time for anybody trying to do the math and figure out how old I am. I remember going to football games with my dad when the home field was there where the ROTC building is now. It was great stands. I remember going to basketball games in what is now the Alumni Hall, sitting there with a couple of hundred people at most watching basketball games. I love this university. Graduated here. My sister graduated from here. My dad taught here. My mom taught here after she retired from 8th grade math here for a few years. Both of my daughters have gone here. I laughingly tell people that I told my two girls that they could go to any university that they wanted to in the United States as long as they would take a check written to UT Martin. My daughter was bound and determined, my oldest, to go to UT Knoxville, which for some reason I bit my tongue and didn't say anything. We sent in all the requirements and she was accepted, and I was still hanging my head until April when she went into my wife's office who teaches there at Union City Schools and was crying and said, do you think my dad would get mad if I went to UT Martin instead of UT Knoxville? Because we sent the $100 up there to reserve the place. And my wife assured Jenny Beth, I think everything was. I think I can. I'm very appreciative of this again, and again, very, very, very humble. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You go.
It's a short-term job.
Okay, the next thing, and Keith will help me through this because I was not really prepared to do this, but is the appointment of a student member. And Did? Okay.
Well, right now, obviously, new board, just getting started, didn't have time to do a proper election. We're blessed right now to have an incredibly bright and talented SGA president, student body president, who has really represented the university well since his election last April. I would move that Devin Majors be considered our student representative as being the chief representative of our student body, as SGA president, until that time when we can get election established.
This will be for a term that ends June 30th, 2019.
That's correct.
So be roughly for a year and a half.
Until this year. He'll serve this year.
Oh, I'm sorry, 19, it is. It is. It's still 18. I'm doing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So with that, I would make that recommendation.
Okay, do I hear a motion that Devin be considered for the student member board? So I have a motion and a second. Edie, you'll have to tell me whether we do these by roll
I
call.
have to do all of this.
Okay, because,
Because of the
okay.
Cal Bynum,
Yes.
Chris Caldwell,
Yes.
Lee Seibler,
Yes.
Art Sparks,
Yes.
Judy Wells,
Yes,
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Kevin is from Nashville. He's majoring in political science. He's a junior, so I think he will be a good addition to the board.
There's a second piece to this, if I can do it. What I'd like for you all to look at, and again, Art will, at our next meeting, have all of this in advance, but I would really like for you all to consider a selection process and move forward with the selection process for student member. We think it's really important, and I know Devin feels it's really important for students to have voice in this. And so the process that we're recommending, and we can give you greater explanation from our student affairs team if you would like it, but basically in parallel with the annual student government election cycle, we have an election for this position as well to bring up 3 names for consideration by popular vote from the student body. Those names, I guess the 3 highest in terms of vote, would then come to the board, and the chair of the advisory board, the faculty representative, and the chancellor would have an opportunity to interview the 3 and then bring forward a name. But we think that really gives students an opportunity organically representative to develop, but also the minimum grade and criteria and that sort of thing. But it would be a process sort of overseen by student affairs and student government and come to us. And that process is paired in parallel with the process that we utilized with the former board of trustees when it was time for us to elect a student representative from campus and hold 3 names to the government. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
I assume if we approve this, that you would have responsibility for making sure the process is in place.
Absolutely.
When would the next election be?
April.
Heard the chancellor's recommendation for a process for 3 names to be put, vetted. Any questions, any further questions?
This process be written somewhere.
Yes, yes. It should be in the packet. Okay. In the orange packet. Yeah. But it's written down there, Chris. There are 3 pages. It also includes form they would fill out and sign. So we'd have some information on their classification, that they're a full-time student.
Everyone understand the process. They keep doing a good job of explaining it. what is the pleasure? And Devin, do you have an opinion as to whether or not you think this process, you're now a board member?
I think it's probably one of the best ways to go about it. We always have, like our SGA election. That's where students get the biggest choice for the school year. So I see adding a student representative for this. They'll be going for their SGA. And this position.
Good. Any further questions? Requiring motion. There is a second. Al makes a motion, Devin second. Any further discussion? Edie?
Albina,
Yes.
Chris Caldwell,
Yes.
Cody Zager,
Yes.
Mark Sparks,
Yes.
Devin Majors, Julie Wells,
Yes.
Unanimously is approved. Thank you. The next item of business is the election of the Secretary of the Board. The information that was provided to us, the Secretary will serve at the pleasure of the Advisory Board and without a definite term. The Secretary will assist the Chair and the Chancellor in preparing the agenda and materials for Advisory Board meetings, preparing and maintaining the minutes of the Advisory Board meetings, and maintaining a current set of bylaws and a record of all bylaw amendments, maintaining all records pertaining to the business of the Advisory Board, except as may be otherwise provided, policies of the Board of Trustees. Any questions about what the purpose of the Secretary or what the job responsibilities are?
I have a recommendation, Chair. I would like to recommend Ms. Edie Gibson to work with us. She's doing many of these roles for us already in preparation for the UT board meetings in terms of getting our calendar, making sure that we're abiding by the correct dates, have all the proper paperwork turned in. I hope she's still speaking with me once we approve her and have her in this role. But we're really moved that we perform this function.
Has Edie worked at the University of Maryland?
Just 30 years. Just 30. So, which is still a youngster around here.
We have had a suggestion that Edie Gibson be made the Secretary of the Board, which I think is very appropriate.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. We did Julia on that one. Okay, Devin, Julia second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none.
Albina,
Yes.
Chris Caldwell,
Yes.
Cody Zager, here,
Yes.
Devin Majors,
Yes.
Mark Sparks,
Yes.
Julia Wells,
Yes.
okay, you have approved.
Evening, Mr. Chairman and members. I need to take off back to national, but I did want to thank you all again. I'm excited, encouraged about what this community are, and grateful for your being willing to serve. Take on, like I said, it's an important thing to be the first of anything. You all will set the model for what it's like for a long time to come. So I appreciate you taking it on. Responsibility and seriousness about the impact you can have. Personally, I'm grateful for serving.
Next item of business is setting future dates for regular meetings of the board. I know in the original information that was sent out, there were some suggestions for a particular week. Very happy they were after April 15th. Do we want to set the dates now? And do we want to set it on a particular day of the week? Yes.
Well, we suggested Friday. We did not know if that worked best. These dates were set to give us ample time to act on things and report them to the full board or report them to the president. for deadlines pertaining to budget, tuition, things of that nature. This would keep us in cadence with university systems schedule. As Moniz and Julia know, there are certain deadlines that hit board meetings. This would allow ample time.
Are Fridays a bad day for anybody? Is there a motion then to potentially look at the dates that are suggested here on Friday on this particular schedule, which is April the 26th, 2019, September 20th, 2019, January 10th of 2020, May 8th of 2020, and September the 18th.
What was the April date again?
The April date was April 26th of 2019. Is there a motion to accept those dates? Devin makes the motion. Al seconds.
What time of day, what kind of schedule are we talking about?
Julia, probably a noon lunch and a 1 o'clock meeting.
Okay,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Edie?
Hal Diamond,
Yes.
Chris Caldwell,
Yes.
Louise Hackler,
Yes.
Devin Majors,
Yes.
Art Sparks,
Yes.
Julia Wells,
yes.
approved.
Thank you. We now turn to the strategic plan, student profile, and impact study, which I'm going to turn this over to the Chancellor.
All right. Folks, these are the next 3 or 4 items that we have here are really for your information, and with the promise that in subsequent meetings, we'll be working with our chair to talk about what we want to bring forward for discussion. One of the responsibilities we will have is to keep you updated on the strategic plan, operating budget, plans for tuition that goes into sort of our enrollment and growth plan. So we wanted to give you some information today to sort of whet your appetite, so as we develop agendas to go forward, we can decide and you can help determine what we really want to focus on. This first handout is our strategic plan. It's posted right on the UT Martin website in much greater detail. This is strategic planning tab. Dr. Caldwell was involved on our steering committee as we set forth. This was just endorsed late last summer at the annual meeting of the Board of Trustees. So it's been freshly vetted by our board. What we have presented here today for your information is our mission statement, our core values, and then the 5 goals that we are supporting and offering. And what I would like to do is subsequent meetings go in and perhaps give you updates, brief update on each goals and what actions are taking place. The dashboard is being developed to be able to show you how we're tracking and publicly our progress on the dashboard. I think that would be a great topic for us to discuss and bring in some people that have been working, I guess, from the ground level on the plan to give you an update on that. This is just a primer, and certainly for your information, but there's much more available, and would love to talk about that at a subsequent meeting. The second piece is a study done by EMSI, which is a third-party group that Dr. Bob Smith brought in 2016, and we really just wanted to get a snapshot of the economic impact of UT Martin on the area, certainly the greater region in the state. And this is really for your information. Now, I will tell you, with our brand new University of Tennessee President, Boyd, President Boyd is very interested in getting a fresh look at the impact of the system and then where the campuses have impact. So I would think in 2020 we'll do this yet. And the board, our advisory board can work and talk about some parameters we want to dig into and flesh out. So I think this would be something of interest to you, just as you're talking to people in the community. And we can talk more about that later. The third piece is hot off the press. This is the most important thing about UT Martin are our students. And the students that come in, we've had real success the last 2 years. Our freshman class has grown by 22% in terms of full-time enrollment. And we thought it would be helpful for all of you to just get this snapshot of who these students are in terms of the freshmen that came in that will be graduating in 4 years in 2022. With 1,143 coming in, obviously representing 66 counties of our 95. I will tell you, I'm a little competitive, and pretty soon, Devin, we want 95 counties represented here, and we'll get there. But when you look across, you can also see that we're expanding in terms of the states that we're reaching. Obviously, 23 states in 9 countries, and most of our international students, you can see from the top, being from South Korea. This is just a snapshot for this year's freshman class. We're going to continue to do this, and obviously, we're really interested in tracking these as they go forward. And I really want to pause when we talk about admissions and enrollment. People often think about in office, and truly, I'll tell you from my 2 years and a month at Martin, 2 months and a week, 2 years and a week, that really we have 900 recruits here, and the work that our faculty do to recruit students, but also on the retention side, the relationship our faculty build with students as they come through and mentor them. This is a great place to come and learn. And I think we're creating a culture that's going to keep fostering improved retention rates. And we want to make Martin a destination campus, and I think we've got everything we can do to make that happen. But certainly wanted to have this, and as we move forward, we'll be talking electronically. There may be pieces of this infographic that you want to blow up and us talk about and present to you all at subsequent meetings. Any questions on this piece? This is just sort of a fun piece. I like the names, actually. That's right. We had 16-year-old freshman and a 52-year-old freshman. So it's exciting. Archie, you were 14.
I was in my 14th grade. I couldn't even tell me what young kids when I introduced myself to them. And I said, "What grade are you?" I say, "5th grade." And I'll go, "Those the best 3 years of my life." 5th grade. Most of the time don't get it. Now, this is really good information. Keith, the thing I'm interested in also, and would be interested to talk to others about, is how easy it is for a student to come to UT Martin. How easy is it for them to transfer from another institution to come to Martin? What barriers are out there that possibly could be changed to make it easier to get more credit hours if it's appropriate, and stuff like that. So I have a personal interest in that for no reason other than just getting kids to UT Martin.
Absolutely. Sounds like a great agenda.
The 10th item on here is the closing remarks by the chair. Oh,
This one is
okay.
just
I'm sorry.
No, yeah, just quickly, one more piece of this very important piece. Dr. Renee LaFleur, and Renee, would you please wave? Dr. LaFleur is a historian and a great faculty member here at UT Martin. She's also serving as our faculty senate president. And she has really presented for your information, and we will certainly explore faculty role and responsibility in our governance process more. But wanted to give you this as sort of an introduction. Our faculty have active voice on this campus, and I'm so happy that We have faculty representation on the advisory board. But this letter and the bulletin that comes with it, it really is helpful to help educate exactly what the role of our faculty are here on this campus. And when you look at this broader piece, this brief for the University Faculty Council, this is a system-wide collaboration of all the UT campuses, all the faculty senates, to really talk about faculty voice, faculty role, faculty responsibility. And it really does a fantastic job of breathing life into some terms that we hear every day on the college campus, like shared governance, tenure, post-tenure review, and really gives a nice description of really what that means and allows you to have the opportunity to converse and talk and ask questions about this. So I think this is going to be really helpful. Carol, could I ask Dr. LaFleur if she has anything to add? Dr. LaFleur, do you have anything to add? And we know this may be an agenda item coming down the pike very quickly, but are there things you'd like to add about this?
Well, I think the material is pretty explanatory, but I wanted to, as I say in my introductory letter, to introduce myself and to offer the Faculty Senate Executive Committee to be a resource for you. If you have questions, if you have concerns, we all have the same goal of trying to make UTM even better than it already is, and we are here to help in that process. So I just wanted to build that relationship from day one with you all.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is closing remarks from the chair, which I was not prepared. I will make a couple of promises. Keith and I will get together prior to the next meeting and go over everything. So maybe we will seem to be a little more sort of where we are. I would ask Edie, if you could, as the newly elected secretary, if you could circulate names, addresses, cell phone numbers, and things like that, would be most appreciative, although we all need to remember the Sunshine Law and the information that was provided to us to make sure that we are not discussing things that violate the Sunshine Law. The governor has given us a great responsibility here, and that is to attempt to oversee the best chancellor in the University of Tennessee system. I don't look at it as a responsibility as much as I look at it as an opportunity. How many times are we given the opportunity to help 6,000, 7,000 students out every year try to obtain their goal? As successful as UTM is, it will only be as successful as the students and the alumni that UT Martin puts out. And we have a great opportunity here to make this the best university. We already know it is, but to make it the best university within this system. I've often said UT Martin knows what they are. They are a quality undergraduate educational facility who turns out good people to work in good jobs and do a great job in doing those jobs. So I don't look at it as responsibility. I look at it as a real opportunity. And I hope everyone else does too. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
I just might add amen to that. Martin is not my original campus, and over the past 4 or 5 years, I have spent substantial time there, both with Keith and before Keith, and I can tell you that my belief is that Martin has the opportunity to grow more than any of the other campuses, and I think they are fully equipped to make that happen. And so I'm delighted to be a part of this and hope that as one member of this advisory committee that I can make myself available anytime, Keith, that you need us, or that we as a committee need to be together, because this campus has nothing but upward movement to happen, and I am delighted to be a part of it.
Anyone who is not friended Keith Carver on Facebook or something like that, please do, because you'll get a chuckle every week.
You
And
need to be sure and see the camel ride for Hump Day.
it, even with him sitting here, and I hate to say it, I cannot say enough good things about Keith Carver. He is truly an answer that this university needed at a time we've had great leadership, maybe a couple of hiccups over the last 100 years or so, but or about 100. But Keith Carver is the right guy right now. We just need to make him look bad so nobody else looks at him. If there are no other remarks, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will move after one remark.
Okay.
Chairman, just tell us what we need. We'll put our shoulders below.
Charlie Deal would say we need money. You know, that's. Gonna handle that up there, Charlie.
I move to adjourn.
Okay.
Folks, there's a disclosure. You probably saw that. Edie was waiting, I forgot to mention that. If you'll read that and sign it, it's just self-explanatory. We need a disclosure form for you. We need that back in 30 days. In 30 days or today. So.
If you'd like, you can send an electronic copy of that.
With that, we have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much. And again, I'm very humbled to have been elected to this position. Very humbled. Well, you have